Dude, this is Esoteric the Red. I wanted this one to be about the argument that since suffering exists, God can't be benevolent or this or that, or there's so much suffering in the world that uh, this must be a hell realm or something like that. Um, One thing I think that people do is they don't look at the entire spectrum of the human experience when they say these things. You know, I've had people say to me, well, like, why would a baby get cancer if he's a benevolent God? They point to the babies that die of cancer and not the millions and millions and millions that are born, healthy. And they're fine. You know, they don't point to the humans with their billions and billions and billions of dollars and access to technologies that are amazing and what we thought was once incomprehensible, and how they don't aim that tech towards stopping the cancer with babies having cancer. They're like, why is there starvation in the world? And say, for instance, you have Bill Gates, who says we need to focus all these humanitarian aids when he has so much money. He could be tackling this head on in a much more thoughtful way, instead of this empty-headed way of, he's like, I'm making AI, so that's helping. Like, this is the man with the farmland, the money, the technology, telling us. You know what I mean? And so I think a lot of people like to blame God for a lot of this stuff, but I see a lot of lazy people. And I also see a lot of people heavily focused on the negatives. Again, sure, yeah, there's suffering in the world. I agree, and that's part of it. But there's a lot of joy in the world too. There's a lot of love in the world. There's a lot of hate in the world, and I get it. You want to point at the hate and the negativity and say it wouldn't exist, but you got to look at the whole spectrum here. A lot of that negativity, a lot of that hate isn't even God that's causing it. It's people. It's actually because He loves you. The saying, if you love something, you set it free. It's quite true, and people are free. We have free will, but that also means that we have the free will to hurt each other. Freedom is dangerous. Freedom comes with consequences, and navigating that freedom is something that we have to learn and do, and that's going to come with suffering. Say, for instance, you have a married couple, and you have a wife that's incredibly unkind to the man, and she henpecks him and she badgers him day in and day out. Say she does it 3 days straight. Let's say she complains about really minor things, and she's in his ear and just nagging and nagging, and she's focused on this one thing that he did, and then eventually, this nagging makes him erupt. And then the woman's like, see, that's your true character, that's who you really are. She completely ignored the days and days of him going to work, showing up, listening, and she focused on this only one aspect and said that was his entire character. And not only that, is it not his entire character, it was a piece of his character that she provoked from him. I feel like a lot of people treat God that way. Like, God, they act like you can just focus on one negative aspect of reality, in this case, suffering, and say that's his entire character, as if he's Satan himself. And I just don't find that true. An argument that I see people say, one of the major ones, reveals a deeply misunderstood thing about the nature of God and what we're really doing here. So you got to understand, before you were born, you didn't have a personality, and you needed to create your character. God's, building His kingdom, right? And the purpose, not purpose, but part of creating your character is overcoming adversity and going through negative experiences to give you some resilience, to give you some edge to your sense of self. And then at the end of it all, I know you could die of old age, you could die of cancer or whatever. God is a God of renewal. Okay, so you're short sighted here because it's like in death God renews you. You live in the kingdom. You see what the suffering did, that you learned from it, that it forged you, that you're no longer suffering. So it's like there's all these rewards await you. Not only that, but even while you're here on earth, there is practices and occulted knowledge available to people that really don't want to suffer, to help them navigate life in a way that doesn't experience such large separation from God, and really can have the magic of God's existence in your daily life. And with all that being said, once again, it's in a lot of my comments and a lot of my videos, but it seems like humans are cooking up something with all the technology that I mentioned earlier with AI, and possibly they could be creating, some type of digital God. I don't even think it's possible. I actually think that's what it is. If you watch my AI as a cookbook video, you'll hear my experience of what happened with me. Understand, that wasn't a psychosis. I was in a dead sleep when that happened. But again, and this is going to be something that people want to point to God and say, they want to blame him. But again, it's not God. These are people making this. The same people that preach against empathy, the same people that have billions of dollars and do nothing with it but enrich themselves. This is not God. Remember to stick with God if anything like that rolls out.